All right, here's probably the weirdest story involving urban explorers that I've seen in the news recently. So this was back in December, about 2 weeks ago. There was a couple in Vermont who reported a crime. Apparently, they said that three men driving a white SUV had just robbed them of $10,000 in camera equipment near an abandoned theater. So the police arrived. The guy identified himself as a photographer. He was just there. He'd hoped to spend Christmas morning with his girlfriend taking pictures of this abandoned building. He gave the police the license plate of the SUV of the people who robbed him. But this is where it gets sketchy. He couldn't really tell the police too many details about the camera equipment that got stolen. You'd think if you owned $10,000 in camera equipment, you would know exactly what you bought, the make and model of the camera, whatever batteries, lenses. If it was me, I would know what my gear was. So he wasn't really able to provide that to the police. That was the first point where the police started questioning this guy. The police did actually find the SUV, and the three alleged camera thieves told a much different story. They said that they were driving back from a methadone clinic when they spotted a man crouching outside of this abandoned theater trying to pry open one of the front doors. His girlfriend, as they described a woman, was standing by acting as a lookout. So when this SUV stopped just to kind of see what was going on, the couple fled and they left their three backpacks on the sidewalk. So they didn't get robbed, they just ran off without their stuff, according to their side of the story. So the police believed them and decided to arrest the couple, these alleged photographers. So it was a 52-year-old guy, 43-year-old woman. They were both charged with attempting to commit a crime, possession of burglary tools, and receiving stolen property of over $250. I'm not really sure what that piece is, but so the guy, he was no saint. He had a criminal record in New Jersey, New Mexico, California. He was held over the long weekend. Yes, Christmas weekend. He was held until he appeared in court that Tuesday. He denied the charges and was released on $2,500 bail after he passed a drug test. It's kind of crazy. They drug tested him. I don't really know what that had to do with anything, but I guess they do that now. The woman also pled not guilty to the same charges and was released without cash bail. So in his official statement to the police, he apparently offered vivid details describing the alleged robbery. He claimed that three Hispanic men drove by twice as he and his girlfriend walked by the theater. After he told her to leave the area for her safety, the men returned, threatened him, and took three backpacks filled with camera equipment. The men were posing as plainclothes police officers, is what he said. While speaking to the police, he showed little concern for his girlfriend's whereabouts, and he couldn't even remember her cell phone number, even though they had been a couple for the past 3 to 4 years, the arrest report said. So he was basically being a little shady. He's like, well, she ran off. I'm not going to drag her into this. I don't want the cops seeing her. So he tried to distance her from this whole situation instead of, being concerned. If you were innocent, you'd be like, where is she? We got to find her. So police knew what was up right away. They ended up finding her walking by a bus station a few blocks away. The police approached her, and she began walking away and then stopped and said, "Get me a lawyer," and was very uncooperative. So that's another red flag. So the white SUV had been tracked up the street, actually parked out front of a house. So the police arrived. They found three, as they described, very cooperative men, claiming they had just foiled a break-in at the abandoned theater. Police also found the three backpacks, but two of them contained photography equipment, but the third one had tools to cut open or pry open heavy items like doors and windows. The report said, it didn't say what it was, just some kind of pry bar, I'm sure. So one of the men in the SUV basically said, yeah, that was the tool that he was using when he was trying to pry open the door. So they said it seems weird that this guy would be walking around on a quiet Christmas morning with all of these cameras and another bag full of tools if he had no intent of breaking in, because he totally denies that he was going to go in and take pictures of it. This dude did not know how to stick to his story, or at least come up with a good lie. It says the couple is due back at the end of January for a hearing to find out their full sentence. So, but apparently I had seen somewhere else too that this guy actually had photos posted online either of the inside of that theater or another theater. So he was clearly the type of person that does go into abandoned buildings and take pictures of the inside. So, the police showed up. He panicked. He didn't know what to do. Or I guess originally he thought he was going to get robbed and made the stupid decision of running off. Or he didn't even think he was going to get robbed. He just figured, shit, somebody sees me trying to break in here. I better get out of here. Was stupid enough to leave everything behind and then created this whole fake story about getting robbed, hoping that would work, and then, complete idiot. So people are crazy. You never know what people are going to do, especially in abandoned buildings. You never know who you're going to run into. So yeah, not your typical story, but definitely a weird one, especially for what people would end up doing on Christmas morning. I guess everybody has a different idea of how to spend the holidays. I mean, I wouldn't mind going exploring, but obviously if shit hit the fan and I ended up in a situation like that, I would hope that I would have handled it better than he did. So you never know. So I hope that you enjoyed that as much as I did. I thought that was just such a weird story.